remember the day like it was etched into my bones. The look on my family's faces when I told them I was dedicating my life to fungi, to healing the earth with mushrooms. They laughed, outright laughed, as if I'd announced I was planning to build castles in the clouds. My father called me a fringe weirdo. My mother shook her head and said I was wasting my life chasing some silly obsession. And my siblings? They just sneered, convinced I'd fail, that I was an embarrassment to the family name. I felt the weight of their derision like a stone in my chest, but deep down, I knew this was my calling, no matter what they thought. That moment, I realized I had to walk my path alone, fueled by a stubborn spark that refused to die out. The road wasn't easy. I faced rejection after rejection from the academic world, my groundbreaking research dismissed as fringe science. My ideas laughed at by colleagues who couldn't see beyond their narrow textbooks. But I didn't give up. I left the sterile labs behind, abandoned the titles and accolades I'd once craved, and threw myself into the dirt and decay of polluted lands, studying fungi's incredible ability to restore what humans had ravaged. Every failed experiment, every moment of doubt, only hardened my resolve. I worked tirelessly, often alone, driven by the memory of their mocking faces and a fierce belief that fungi could heal this broken world. It was an obsession. Yes, but one rooted in hope, in the unshakable conviction that I was making a difference. Years passed. Slowly, the barren, poisoned lands I worked on began to breathe again. Tiny mushrooms sprouted in cracks of concrete. Lush green patches spread over what was once a wasteland. The skeptics scoffed until the day I led a team to transform an entire polluted riverbank into a thriving ecosystem, teeming with life again. News of my work spread, and what once was dismissed as fringe became a global movement. I watched as communities embraced fungi's power, restoring forests, cleaning waterways, healing soils that had been dead for decades. Every success was a silent, powerful rebuke to their ridicule. I realized that the greatest failure wasn't in my research, it was in their inability to see the potential of what was right in front of them. I found my purpose, and I knew I had finally proved my worth. Then, the day came when I returned whole, the place where their doubts had festered, where their laughter had echoed in my ears for years. I stepped onto that familiar street, but I was no longer the outsider they'd mocked. I was someone who had transformed the impossible into reality. I carried with me the proof, pictures, reports, thriving patches of restored land, living testament to my work. My family was gathered in the living room, eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years of pain and perseverance, and I began to share my story, not just of fungi and forests, but of resilience, of faith in something greater than doubt. Then I led them outside. I showed them the lush green patches I'd created, the riverbank now alive with fish and birds, the soil teeming with fungi, an ecosystem reborn. Their eyes widened, disbelief giving way to awe. My father, once so dismissive, looked at the thriving land and then at me, a flicker of recognition crossing his face. My mother's hand trembled as she reached out, touching the soil, whispering, "I never thought it was possible." The room fell silent, heavy with unspoken regret and newfound respect. In that moment, I realized that their mockery had been a reflection of their own fear, fear of the unknown, fear of change. But I had proven that even the most dismissed dreams, when fueled by unwavering belief, can rewrite the future. That day, I didn't just show them what I'd built. I showed them what I'd become. Someone who refused to be defined by their doubts. Someone who turned rejection into revolution. Their faces, once filled with scorn, now carried a quiet acknowledgement of the truth I'd lived. The power of perseverance. The importance of faith in what others dismiss as impossible. I left that day knowing I'd finally closed the chapter of ridicule, opening instead a new one of hope, healing, and the undeniable proof that dreams rooted in purpose can change the world. And as I walked away, I carried with me the profound lesson that sometimes the greatest triumph is not just in winning the battle, but in transforming the skeptics into believers, and in knowing that, deep down, you were right all along.